got a Bachelor of Fine Arts as a playwright and was a working playwright and got sick. And over a period of I don't know how long, he got sicker and sicker until his rheumatologist said he should get his affairs in order. And he trusted in his doctors, and his doctors finally told him, you're going to die. And he decided, I guess maybe it was your theatrical training that taught you to think, well, how can I recast this memory so that it'll help me instead of making me just die? And he recast this in his memory, in his mind, and read it over and over until he could internalize it differently. That we put a Bozo the Clown head on this man instead of this white coat, and make him say, if you stay with me, you're going to die. Go somewhere else. Which he did. And he looked around and he found a thing called the Gerson program by German physician and amazing scientist Max Gerson, and went from death's door to curing himself, and went from being unable to work and dying of brain fog to being lucid. In fact, when I first met him at age 50, he's one of the most lucid, and still is, one of the most lucid people I know, and he can rattle off names and dates and journal article page numbers and facts and figures like nobody's business, having gone all the way from being told that he had this, as we still all know, lupus is incurable, right? You know that, it's a fact. Well, it's not. And he's living proof, and so is his wife. Anyway, he went on and decided that this was a life-changing event for him, as it often is for people, and he decided to go into the field and worked with Gerson's daughter at the Gerson Institute, and then later founded the Gerson Research Organization, has been helping patients at various Mexican clinics for a long time, has been involved in the alternative medicine field, and worked for Senator Tom Harkin and on NIH panels and things, and he really gets around and he knows a lot of people and a lot of stuff. So I'm sure you'll find this talk very fascinating, whatever it is exactly he's going to talk about this time. He's got 5 other lectures that he could also give that will also fascinate you. So Gar Hildenbrand with an M.
It says a lot. Spontaneous regression, a hidden treasure buried in time. Option can. By the 1890s, William Coley refined this approach with a bacterial vaccine which, when administered properly, could induce complete regression of extensive, you read it right, extensive metastatic disease. Unfortunately, after Coley's death, his vaccine and technique fell into obscurity. Now,
what is metastatic?
Metastatic means disseminated, spread throughout the body. Okay, metastatic. It doesn't sound like that, does it? Because it sounds like it's sitting still, but it's spread throughout the body. A key aspect that Coley found to be necessary for tumor regression was the induction of a mild to moderate fever. He would gauge dosage levels according to individual patient responses and increase the doses necessary to avoid vaccine tolerance to simulate the effects of a chronic infection in his patients. He would inject the tumor vicinity daily or every other day for the first month or 2. Despite the crude approach taken by Coley, his vaccine stimulated a complex immune response that could induce complete regression of both extensive primary and metastatic lesions. Furthermore, his vaccine was universally effective against many types of malignancies. And everybody's going like, wait. Where is it? Where is it? Blame industry and the incestuous relationship of industry with the regulatory agencies. Blame them. In 1972, after a conflict of interest scandal at the National Institutes of Health, biologicals, meaning all vaccines and materials made from microbes and other components of living cells. This was moved from NIH to the Food and Drug Administration, 1972. In 1972, an immediate hold was placed on all biologicals. Eli Lilly had an intravenous strep vaccine for arthritis that was put on hold. The FDA was mobbed by patients who were being treated with this vaccine in well-constructed trials, who were benefiting, and who begged for a hearing, and they were told by FDA Commissioner Donald Kennedy that people are not allowed to request a hearing at the FDA. Only an FDA licensed corporation can appeal for a hearing. Talk about the issue of corporate personhood getting ugly. You people know about that issue, right? Corporate personhood. Yeah, okay. Because it reminds me of vampire movies. You know, they don't die, corporations, they stay alive forever. They eat generation after generation. Okay. From 1979 until 2006, in the month of June, there was a ban on interstate commerce for Streptococcus products. I'm not kidding. This happened while you were being mature, intelligent, active adults. It happened behind your field of vision. And being lifted now means that it's possible to go ahead and use some of these agents, these immune provocateurs, in disease management. But more importantly, it means that the human immune system, which was provoked effectively by these agents, is out of jail at the FDA. And instantly they're antibiotics.
So they should not be given antibiotics?
Well, in the first place, you better talk about whether the first-line treatment is the right treatment, because if we start out with chemotherapy and radiation, I have fewer qualms about surgery when it's appropriate. But if we start with chemotherapy and radiation,
right,
we are immunosuppressed, and then we're going to call the internist first thing when we get the fever, right?
You cannot refuse those things too. I mean, I've been trying to persuade a
You
friend
can't
to
refuse them.
Well, to refuse chemotherapy.
Culturally, perhaps, but individuals with the courage turn around and walk away. You'll see some various examples on the DVD, the little documentary we did for the senator, of people who had the courage to say, as J.D. Barsick comments, he looked at his doctors, the Harvard doctor, this very well-respected oncologist with the clipboard and the bow tie and everything, and he said, F you. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I have a question, though. This Coley vaccine, I mean...
He killed bacteria, non-infectious.
In the 80 years that this was known about, what about animal research? I mean, a dog, the sickest dog will get a very high fever sooner or later.
You mean, could more research change this?
Where is the animal research? I mean,
It's there. It's all been done. See, it wasn't the research, the science...
Why was the animal research done?
Let me state it again.
Why was no
The research was done. The animal research is done. When you become familiar with the literature, you'll be blown away, and you'll also probably be gripping your hands in a sort of a white-knuckle rage, because you'll see that the science was immaculate. The science was perfect. It was a regulatory agency basing its decision on industry lobbying that decided that repeated injections of streptococcal materials of any type might somehow cause a late Herxheimer reaction or some other horsepucky. And for that reason, these were kept out of interstate commerce for functionally 3 decades, up until just about 2 years ago. And the animal research is done, and the human research is done, and it's all